He is revered as the Great Emancipator, the political genius who preserved the Union, a giant of American history whose words are carved into stone and memory, the ultimate symbol of strength and moral courage. But psychology reveals a terrifying secret. Abraham Lincoln and the life was a brutal, unending battle against a paralyzing clinical darkness he called melancholy long before the Civil War began. He was haunted by suicidal thoughts, catastrophic grief, and an overwhelming sadness that nearly broke his mind. This is the story of how America's greatest president weaponized his deepest depression into the steel that saved a nation. Melancholy did not strike Lincoln just once. It was his native state of being. His neighbors describe him as a man with the face of a man going to execution. His eyes often conveyed a sadness so deep it seemed almost tangible. In his 30s, long before he entered politics, Lincoln was in a pit. His business failed, and the only woman he truly loved, and Rutledge, died suddenly of typhoid fever. The subsequent depression was so severe that friends had to place him under suicide watch. They removed knives, razors, and even sharp tools from his room. Terrified he would take his own life, he felt completely, totally unloved, unlovable. He later wrote to a colleague, "I am now the most miserable man living. If what I feel were equally disturbed to the whole human family, there would not be one cheerful face on the earth." Lincoln realized his darkness would never leave him, so instead of fighting it, he used profound psychology to adapt to it. He turned his melancholy into the unique source of his strength. His depression gave him empathy because he knew profound suffering. He felt the pain of an enslaved person, not as a political concept, but as a visceral reality. It gave him perspective. His melancholy made him a stoic. If life was inherently tragic, he was not surprised by failure or betrayal, making him calmer and tougher under unimaginable states. And it gave him resilience, having survived the loss of his beloved mother at 9, and later the death of his two sons while he was in office. The bloodiest war in American history did not break him because his own mind had already broken dozens of times before. He endured it while generals and advisors panicked around him. The melancholy president stood firm, his internal tragedy anchoring him to the external crisis. His state held the Union together. The Emancipation Proclamation, born from a visceral empathy for human bondage, shattered the chains of millions. When the war finally ended in 1865, the melancholy president had led America through its darkest night. He did not just survive the war, he survived himself. He proved that darkness is not a destiny of defeat. The psychological lesson of Abraham Lincoln is profound. Suffering does not make you broken. It can make you unbreakable. Your deepest wounds can become the exact empathy and endurance needed to carry out your greatest life purpose. Are you letting your depression define you, or are you forging it into strength? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit subscribe for more psychological breakdowns, and we will see you in the next orbit.